Alright, so I wanted to do a quick tutorial on updating the ESP8266 Wi-Fi module to the newest version. Electro Dragon has a tutorial on it, and they are using a SparkFun FTDI 3.3 volt USB to serial module, and I wanted to demonstrate it using a Arduino. Let's see here. So let me go ahead and explain the setup. As you can see, we've got an Arduino Mega. The module is connected exactly how it says in reality, and exactly how it says to connect it in the tutorial. Well, it isn't at the moment. I'll go ahead and pull a couple pins here. Looks like I need to pull GPIO 0. Alright, so there's another one floating here. Where's the reset? So, as in the Electro Dragon example, this is the reset, and the GPIO 2 pins are just floating. The reset's floating, okay. GPIO 0 is tied to ground to put it into a loading mode. Ground is ground, power is power. And CHPD is on power as well. The serial pins, well, the Arduino itself, we've got it set up in a USB to TTL serial configuration. How I'm going to do that is basically what I'm doing is I'm tying the reset pin to the ground pin of the Arduino, and what this is doing is it's turning off the Atmega chip itself and allowing the USB portion of the board to communicate directly to the serial 1 pins. And now the pins on the module, I'm going to tie what looks like RX of the module to RX of the Arduino, and TX of the module to TX of the Arduino. And this originally threw me for a problem. This is actually the first time I've done anything directly using just the USB portion of one of the Arduino boards. But I have realized after staring at it for a little bit that the board markings for TX and RX are for the Arduino side of the connection. So when we're talking about the USB portion connecting to the Arduino, the USB portion, TX, is labeled RX for the microcontroller. Hopefully that makes sense. But basically, TX of the ESP module is hooked up to pin 1, which is labeled TX, but is actually RX of the USB portion. So that was one of the main points that I wanted to get across. So now that I've downloaded the files from the Electro Dragon website, I've got them in a folder here. There's ESP8266 flasher when it comes up. Pretty simple. You want to find the binary file. Go to desktop, ESP flash, and there's the binary file. So you just find the binary file. And now you need to specify your COM port. That's basically just, you want to go to your device manager, and it's just like finding the COM port on a Arduino itself. So we're on COM4 for the Arduino Mega. We're going to specify that. And this, just leave it alone. Basically it's saying where do you want to start writing the binary information, and we want to start at address 00 on the chip itself. We're going to hit download. Oh, okay. Easy reason why I failed to download is I needed to do a power cycle before I did anything there, and I forgot to do it. So we're going to download. You'll see it's erasing the flash, and then we're running through all the binary addresses that it's writing to. You can see the TX is having a good time there. Hopefully we're actually focused. Kind of hard to tell, this camera has somewhat of a little screen, but it is still 720p. So other than my shaking around, it should be taking fairly good video. Alright, so now you can see at the end, it says leaving, failed to leave flash mode. From what I can tell, the Electro Dragon says that as well. I think it's just got something to do with not having actually communicated with the chip after something. I don't know. So we're going to go ahead and exit out of that. Now what I'm going to bring up is I've got a Arduino program. This is for the Mega itself, so let's go ahead and reconvert the Mega. So now we're going to take it out of that USB to serial mode by removing the pin that's pulling reset to ground. And then right now we're on the serial 0 port, which is tied to the USB to serial converter, and we are going to put the TX pin. We are now going to use the TX to the RX since we're using the microcontroller, and RX to TX. And the reason why I'm using serial 1 is that this way I can communicate with the Arduino on serial 0 and then send in information to the ESP module over serial 1. So if you're doing this on an Uno, the problem will be that you'll have to use software serial. There's some tutorials out there about that. It's a little less than ideal. Okay, so back on the information here. When this first starts up, it's going to want to it's going to start spitting some stuff out of the serial. I was trying to get it to run through some basic AT commands, and basically I sent it all the AT commands, but then I forgot to read back the information, so I hadn't actually used much of that. So I'm going to go and do another power reset on the module itself, and then we're going to fire up the serial monitor. And like I said, it's going to spit out a bunch of garbage because I forgot to actually read information from the module itself. Alright, so back to the Electro Dragon here. Or by the way, if you are interested where I got my module, this one's actually US shipper, so I got it in about 6 days. There's the buyer right there. No complaints so far. So we're back to this here. Oh, another thing we need to do in changing the Arduino that I forgot to set up here is that GPIO 0 needs to now go to V++, and reset pin we will throw to V++ as well. We're going to go ahead and do another power cycle since I forgot to do that. And basically what it did is it just spit out a bunch of garbage while it was launching, and then it's now reading ready. So we're going to go ahead and run AT plus GMR, and basically that's just going to say that we're on the 170901 file version that they want to start the cloud update with. And so now on to the cloud update. What we need to do, oh, I really wish I would have saved that. First of all, we need to set the mode, which is CWMODE equals 3, and that puts it in an access point Well, it's either configuration. Yeah. So we're going to set it that. We've got an OK. Now it wants us to send AT plus reset, RST, and we are ready again. Now we need to do AT plus CWJAP equals parentheses router name, which in this case is test wireless, and I'm still on caps lock. It's not helpful. End parentheses, and I'm going to make sure, yeah, there's test wireless. Now we go back here, comma, and then password, which is ABCD1234. Super secure. Make sure everything's right. We'll send that to it. So we've got OK back. And now, I didn't have any luck with this earlier, but I'm going to go ahead and try and send it this AT plus CIFSR. Not sure why that was giving me issues earlier. Alright, so there's my IP address. So I do have an IP address on the network. That's what that's making sure, is that I've actually connected. Originally I had put test Wi-Fi instead of test wireless, so it wasn't connecting. If I asked it for the wireless it was still connected to, it would say test Wi-Fi, but the ATCIFSR would come back with an error because it wasn't actually on a legitimate network and hadn't been issued a wireless address. Now all I have to do is hit AT plus CIUPDATE, and now you can see it's stepping through CIP update 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it should issue its own reset here in a second. At least it did last time anyway. There it goes. Alright, so now we are back at ready. And we're going to get the AT plus GMR command in there again. And you'll see we are now up to date on 180000902, which is the newest cloud update.